Welcome everyone to Deck Bros, the channel dedicated to the Steam Deck. In this series, we'll be testing just about every game that we have in our Steam library from A to Z, showing off our recommended settings to give you the best experience and to answer the question, will it deck? So here's the quick settings. Like I mentioned, 40 here, TDP and everything else off. I have the scaling filter on, again, because I am running this through a capture card. So that's going to explain why it looks like that. I added the FSR sharpness to max, so that way it kind of made the picture a little bit better to look at instead of blurry. If not, this is what we have. And nobody wants that. So that's that for that. And let's look at these settings in the game. This game, much like Arkham Origins, allows you to adjust the settings in game. So I have the resolution at 1280 by 720. You will not be able to run this game at the 1280 by 800. I do have VSync on just to help out with things a little bit in this instance. Max frames I put to 60. If not, you put it to 30. It'll automatically go straight to 30 as far as the way the game runs when you press start. So that's that. Out of the box, when it comes to the game settings, you won't be able to run the game at the full 1280 by 800 that, of course, we've come to expect as far as the Steam Deck. I think it's fine just the way that it is. You won't have any problems. You won't really notice as much of a difference. As far as the frame rate, we have it maxed at 60. We have the VSync on just to help out. Of course, you can change your textures, your shadow quality, and your level of detail. Everything listed here, that's all preference. I think that this works best for me in this case, and of course your mileage may vary. That being said, let's hop in the game and take it for a spin. See what I did there? Now, because this game is very intense, you're going to notice off the bat, you're going to notice an issue with the frames. That goes without saying. What I will say is that you will end up noticing that things change in combat. When you're in combat, the game kind of tightens up. Much like Arkham Origin, there's something about the way that the game runs while you're in combat versus while you're just traversing. It runs a lot different. I would say that if you do want to run this at 60, then I would probably recommend for that to be plugged in, just so that way you can make sure that you have a lot of your energy conserved, which is a big deal when it comes to being able to run the games the way that you want to, especially for a game that's really intensive like this. What's interesting is that this game feels a little bit slower than Arkham Origins, but isn't necessarily as difficult when it comes to the combat. You can get through a fight quite easily. In addition to being able to pull off certain moves and whatnot, with Arkham Origin, it's a little bit trickier.
Batman, God, it's really you.
Yes, it is.
Our truck was attacked. The rioters dragged us out one by one. We were separated, taken away. Please, they're gonna kill us.
I'll save your crew. Wait here. I'll get a GCPD officer to pick you up.
Now we're going to take a look at the game running in 60 frames. This thing is quite a monster, that being the game, and I'm going to show you exactly why. As far as the quick settings, let's look at them. We have the refresh rate at 60. Everything else pretty much the same other than the refresh rate being changed. Let's look at the game settings, and this is where things get interesting. If we go to the graphics options, in order for me to hit it the way that I personally would like to, I had to change the texture, the shadow, and the level of detail down to low. Now, again, this game is very, very heavy as far as the moving pieces. You have rain, you have shaders, you have all these different things going on in this dense world. And so in order for it to run well on the Steam Deck in this capacity, of course, other factors for me are at play, especially when it comes to this, as far as me running this through a capture card and everything like that. I had to make sure that I had to change some things in order for it to run the way that I would like to on this video. Oh, that was nice. And as you can see, Even still, it dips into the 40s. This will really depend on the person as far as what they prefer. I personally, at this time, probably wouldn't suggest trying to run the game at 60 frames, only because this game is as intense as it is and as powerful as the Steam Deck is. I think unless you have some serious tweaking going on, that you're probably not going to be able to target that constantly. There's nothing wrong with that, but I think that in this case, when it comes to asking the question, will it deck? It will, but you may have to temper your expectations just a little bit as far as trying to run the game at 60 at all times. Now, much like the other games, somehow it manages to lock you in pretty much at 60 in combat, but just the world, I believe, is too dense for this game on the Steam Deck, I believe. So you have some moments again where it runs at 60, but then it just won't stick at all times. We're dipping into the 30s. It really just depends on what your settings are. I honestly, at this state, unless again there's some more tweaks and I revisit this video, as of right now as it stands, I would not recommend that you play this game at 60. Especially if you're like me and you want to play this game the way that I'm doing it right now. I do play handheld, but for the purposes of this video, I do happen to run this through a capture card. If that's something that you want to do, then that's definitely an option. But just understand that you're going to have a hard time running it the way you would expect it to run. How does he do that?
The generator's damaged. I need to bypass it and power the antenna directly.
Hello again, Mr. Wayne. How can I help you this time?
Is the power winch ready for deployment?
It's 100% functional, though no guarantees if you're intending to pull that car of yours up the side of a building.
You read my mind.
It's in the job description, Mr. Wayne. Batwing's on its way.
Well, I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, please hit the like button. If you'd like to follow along on our journey as we showcase all of these games running on the Steam Deck, please feel free to subscribe. We at Deck Bros believe that one of these games could potentially be someone's favorite game. So we want to make sure that we have as much information and show you guys as much of the gameplay and as much of the settings that we can, so that way you can have an idea of how your favorite games run on the Steam Deck. Until next time, I'll catch you guys later in the next video, all right? Peace.
restored power to the radio antenna.
Great. I'm connecting now. I was just talking to Robin. I think you should too.
Bruce, you need me out there. We can find Scarecrow faster together.
What you're working on is more important, Tim.
Can wait one night. Let me help.
I've got this under control.
Okay. Listen, try checking in once in a while. We're partners, remember?
He just wants to help, you know.
Is the antenna ready?
Yeah, but we're going to need a microwave tower to triangulate Scarecrow's location. There's one at Falcone's shipping in the Cauldron. I've marked it on your map.
Thanks, Oracle.